Good evening, Goons and Gaggle, and welcome to episode 10 of Madness and Mercy. Can you believe there have been 10 episodes of this? We have lasted longer than some Broadway shows.
We sure have.
We are the hottest new thing on Twitch this season is Madness and Mercy. So welcome. Welcome, and I hope you all enjoy it.
The Broadway show that you were in, Kay, how long did that run?
The Broadway show I was in ran for 3 years, give or take.
Wow!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Yeah. It ran for quite a long time. And I was in it. I got to see the very tail end of it. I was in it just for the last 4 months or so.
Okay,
Nice.
tell the viewers what show that was for those of them that don't know.
Oh, you. Yes, we've talked about it, not on stream, but I think we've talked about it. Cats! Yes, Canadian Mudkip says cats. Totally cats. No, it was Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I was the hero flyer. I don't have any memorabilia within reach, but otherwise I'd show you. But I did so I was one of the foolish, reckless people that they strapped into a harness and swung around the theater 8 times a week.
And you survived.
I did. It was a lot of fun, actually. So the part that made my wife, who was then my girlfriend, very, very nervous was the fact that the person I was replacing was the one who famously fell 40 feet into the orchestra pit and broke a few ribs.
No.
But the cool thing about that, first of all, he didn't. He came back to the show after that. He recovered from his injuries. Everything was cool. He left later for unrelated reasons. And then I came in to replace him. And when he came back, after that, that was the safest track in the show. They were not going to let anything happen to me. I always felt perfectly safe.
Yes.
What happened to him? Like what caused the fall?
He just wasn't fastened into his harness properly.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, but during that part, I actually had 3 harnesses.
Woof.
Wait,
So,
what was
yeah.
the part? What was happening? What was the stunt?
It wasn't actually. It was totally like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like not at all one of the more dangerous looking stunts. Like the stage kind of lifted up, and he would have to sort of do this slow motion run across this big raised platform, and then lean out over the edge, supported by the harness.
Crazy.
And he only had one point attaching him to the stage, and that failed, so he fell. When I did it, I had 3. And they were so short that I couldn't even get within 4 feet of the edge of the stage. So I was.
Oh, so you were super
There we go.
Oh my
Well,
god, I was so safe.
I'm glad they changed the protocols because, from what I understand, that injury, put the company in a real pickle.
It did.
Absolutely.
It truly did. Yeah. It was pretty. It really was all anybody talked about for quite some time. We always joked, even near the end of the run, that if ever anything in the show failed even slightly, it was going to be in the New York Times the next day.
Oh God.
Just because there was so much media attention on that show all the time. I really loved it. I had a
glad
really
you
great
had
time.
a
working on
good
it.
time, Kay. But if you ask me, I think being an Arcane keeper for Call of Cthulhu is your real bread and butter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely would agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand, Trevor, that the whole experience did leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. But I'm not one of those people. I had a great time.
I'm so glad. And I'm just glad that when you were up there, it was a smooth ride. They weren't gurking you around a lot, or.
No, not at all. There were 1 or 2 times when it did get a little gurky, just because, if they had to hit the emergency stop system, it would feel a little, it was sort of like, had that feeling.
Well,
But yes, I did.
Sorry,
I did the flight known as the New York debut, where I jumped out over the stage or off the stage and flew over the audience, and a few other flights in between. And then also I was I did the goblin battle at the end. So me and
Oh my God!
You met William
that's
Dafoe?
So exciting.
yeah, Willem Dafoe
Fucking hot as
himself.
fuck.
Yeah,
Wait, Kay,
With
I got a real question.
pieces of scenery still
my
between his
gosh.
teeth.
I got a real question. I'm just assuming that the contract for that, since it was hazard pay plus a Broadway show, that must have been a really good deal.
It was a
Yeah.
tremendous deal. Yeah, we were the highest paid ensemble on Broadway just because of all the hazard pay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I love hearing Kay's
And
Broadway story.
I think in hindsight, the
This
show's
Broadway
reputation.
story. I only have one.
in hindsight, I think the show's reputation will recover, and before too long, I'm sure it'll be a real classic. You know.
I sure hope so. I really hope so, Trevor.
I think it is a classic now. I think honestly, it's a classic now. I mean,
I couldn't do it.
I don't know why.
Dan loses, everyone. Who had
All right,
Dan?
Dan? Why are you laughing, Dan?
Okay, Dan broke. I can take it off.
There we go. There we go.
I couldn't do it. I'm not strong enough. I'm but a man.
Only one.
That came out of nowhere, Trevor. You can't do that to me. Oh, God.
Oh boy, that was fun.
That was good.
Oh.
I had heard practice runs of all of them except for Vlasic, actually.
Oh,
Vlasic
Vlasic is so good.
That one really caught me off guard.
Dan too.
I don't
let you
remember
all
which
down.
one. I almost broke on one of them. I think it was Brine. I think that.
Oh, I didn't do a Brian. That would have been a good one though.
What did you do? What was the one that you did?
What a
You
Brian.
Kay got a good
check the tape.
dill.
No, that was Dan's. Dan's was the dill joke. I made the the gherkin was the gherkin joke. Trevor did the gherkin joke.
That
Yeah.
got
The
me.
gherkin was good.
Gherkin. I was trying.
I only managed a humble sour taste in their mouths.
Yeah.
That's like,
Good,
you know,
it's
like
good.
Gherkin is
tangentially
working.
pickle related. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Goons, for sticking with us through that.
Thank you for indulging us as we all made horrible jokes for you.
That was hard. That was
That was yeah.
Phew. All right, that's one improv show down for the night.
All right. Well, all of that madness is brought to you by Modern Artifice. Modern Artifice, ladies and gentlemen. Modern Artifice are continuing to sponsor this wild endeavor that we're on. Yep. Everybody, make your dice jingle jangle.
Jangle, spangle, spangle.
So they are our dice sponsor. You can get a discount on everything at their Etsy shop, which is etsy.com/shop/modern artifice. And if you use code Goon10 at checkout, they'll give you 10% off on all of your super cool dice, such as the ones they just sent us. Let's see what else. Oh, I should mention again that we also have our own Etsy shop. That's etsy.com/shop/criticalfaildm, where you can get really cool stickers like this one, which has my face on it. Also everybody else's face, but mostly mine. So we still have, I think, 2 sticker bundles left, which are still available on that shop, as well as our t-shirts and all of like the individual stickers. Also, another announcement that I'll reiterate from last week, which is that in 2 days, on Friday, March 11th, I'm going to be guest appearing on a Ladies of D&D stream. We're going to be playing Bloodlines and Black Magic. The show is called Country Roads, and I am playing Lucille Smith, a young, spunky, early 2000s pop punk gal. So
Take us
enjoy.
on that Country Road, Kay.
Enjoy as I brood while listening to my portable CD player to some Green Day, presumably.
You're welcome.
Incredible.
A
So yeah,
little
that should be
Tragic
fun.
Kingdom, no doubt throwback.
Oh yes, so that should be fun. Come join us. That's twitch.tv/ladies of DND. DND. It's just occurring to me. I'm wondering, like, what will all those pickle jokes appear like? What if someone's just listening to the podcast and is not enjoying this through a visual? Like, that'll be so confusing.
Oh, I was in a
until-
pickle costume.
Yeah, exactly.
Trevor solved it.
I was
Trevor
in a pickle
solved it.
costume.
Yeah.
And came in a good 10 minutes before the first pickle joke.
Uh-huh.
Trevor, were you in a pickle costume or were you in your true form? And this is the costume.
I'll never tell.
Yeah,
I'll never tell.
What you also won't see if you're listening to the podcast version of this was the part where Trevor unzipped his skin and just was a pickle
Uh-huh.
underneath.
Was a pickle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
like something out of Men in Black. Sugar water. God, what a great movie! What a great movie!
so
About
so
that.
good.
Still
The
have
way
nightmares about
his
that.
eyes blinking like this in the very beginning got me
Yeah.
every time. So
God, I love that
spooky.
movie.
Oh, I have a
Just-
question for you, Kay.
Sure.
We
What's your question?
recording?
We're not. Campbell, thank you. Now we are. Oh, yeah. Every
Yay!
fucking time. No, it's okay, because like I try to do this to save myself a little bit of work, because I see like the start streaming and the start recording button are right next to each other. And when I start streaming, I'm on like the title card. And I keep thinking to myself, I won't hit the recording button until like we're about to just turn our cameras on, because that way I won't have to edit out all of the blah 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 for our YouTube. So I'll save myself a little bit of work.
Takes 5 seconds to edit.
But then I forget to do it, and I have to make myself a whole lot more work by like downloading the video on demand from Twitch and then like cutting it together with the recorded version, because I want the recorded version to be on YouTube. We
made it. We got
it.
there.
We're here.
Well, thank you for reminding me. In any event, here we are. Well, okay. So I have a question for all of y'all. Something to think about. Something that I was thinking about today. As I was fiddling around with old school emulators on my computer and playing some old video games. What is the first video game you guys remember playing?
Oh shit!
Ooh,
I'll start. Aladdin on the Super Nintendo.
Wow,
that was a good one.
Yes, that's a hard game because I got it running. I have it on my computer, so I can play it, and it's hard. It's a really hard game, but it's a lot of fun. Brought up some memories.
You didn't do any regular Nintendo?
Not until after I had played Aladdin. Actually, I didn't have a system of my own until I had like a Game Boy Color, and then I had a Nintendo 64. I never had a SNES. My cousin had one though, so when we went over to his house for Christmas, I would play those games with him.
I don't know which one. I was not a big video game person coming up, but there's a couple of standouts that I remember, and one of them was Barbie Horse Adventures.
Yeah.
Which
game.
to this day,
Real
Trevor can
banger.
attest. Sometimes when I'm playing The Last of Us Part 2 and I'm just riding around on my horse, I'm like, oh my God, this is like Barbie Horse Adventures. Like, because Barbie Horse Adventures was so great. And then also there was a Rugrats game for, I think, maybe it was PS2. It was so good. You like put a snowman together and you were all in all the different seasons. It was so wonderful. Shout out of the chat if you remember the bitchin' Rugrats game.
Oh, I love that.
Y'all, Putt Putt Saves the Zoo absolutely counts because my answer is Putt Putt Travels Through Time.
I don't know
Putt
that.
Travels through, Putt Putt travels through, Putt Putt travels through time.
Hey. That was. I've never heard of that game before, but I love it just for that moment that it just brought us.
Yeah,
Oh my
I want to
God.
play it now.
Lord Dragon just said Wave Race on GameCube, and I
Oh,
played
Was that
hours.
GameCube? Wait a second. Was that GameCube or was I remember Wave?
There was
Race
one on the
on
Nintendo
N64.
64. There was a Nintendo 64. There was a second one that came out on the GameCube. Yeah, but
Okay.
yes, the waves being like crystalline jello, like, ugh.
I didn't even have that game, but my neighbor, who because he was my neighbor when I was little, was my best friend, had it, so I played it all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I just remember a big deal for me was that I did manage one time. Well, actually, I figured it out, and then I could do it occasionally. How to do a double backflip in the N64 version,
Yeah.
and it was hard because you would always land like nose down. But if you managed to get over just enough, you would keep it going.
I think that the two games that I remember vividly, like that I lucidly remember, like the room that I was in and the smell of the room and like the day itself was 1080 snowboarding on the N64.
I loved that game.
I used to play the shit out of that game. And like when you'd unlock one of the secret characters, he'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Like when you'd select on him. So there was that guy and that. And then I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I can speed run the original Mega Man X in an hour.
Wow.
Really?
Ned, that's the coolest fact ever.
How long would it normally take?
Let's just say that in college, I had a lot of time on my hands.
This is going to be bonus content, Ned.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I think I can run that on my. I can get that running. I have
Yeah.
I have all these emulators set up to play old games. Like last week we talked about Echo Knight. I got Echo Knight running. I got Aladdin running. I have Mega Man X already. I don't even have to
I gotta go back.
I don't
and,
even
like,
have to obtain that one.
I gotta remember exactly where all the things are. But like once you know where all the power ups are, like to get the because like one of the best things about it was like there was a special way to get Ryu's Hadouken, like his Hadouken. So like it was like a Sega
It one shot everything, right?
it one shot at everything,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
you could use it on Segma and you could use it on Sigma. I said Sigma. That sounds dirty. You could use it on Sigma's dog, and then you could use it on Sigma. Come on, was I the only one thinking it? All right, fine.
I was about to double down with an even dirtier joke, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
All right, take the high road.
Let me
Take the
burn
high
by
road, Campbell.
myself, Campbell. Just
Yeah.
let me.
Start training for your speed run, Ned.
Yeah. Start training up. You'll have to come over here because like it's all on my PC, so I don't have the means to like. It's not on a console, and my PC. While technically I could bring it to someone else's house, that's a pain. Everything's all like cable managed into place. But speaking of PC gaming, actually, I did my own history a disservice earlier by saying that the SNES was the first like console I played on. Well, actually, that's true. It was the first console I played on, but not the first video game I remember because I am to this day a PC gamer. And back in the day, we had a PC that like, we've always, my dad was a huge PC, is a huge computer nerd too. So we always had pretty capable PCs. So the old like Apogee games like Commander Keen and Duke Nukem and Wolfenstein 3D, and there were a few others that like games that came on a floppy disk were really like my first.
Duke Nukem is 100% not PC for today's era.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't really PC then either. It definitely was not good for like a kid my age.
Oh my god. It makes Grand Theft Auto 5 look like Care Bears Dream Plus.
Damn.
I love that game.
Duke Nukem was like super raunchy, super gory, yeah.
The old ones weren't so bad. Like they would make occasional dirty jokes, but like it wasn't, but also like the old like cinematic games like Myst and Raven, and there was one for Who's Afraid of the Dark, that Nickelodeon show that terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, so scary. And there was one this was later, but there was one for Star Trek Borg as well.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
These were all CD-ROM games. This was a little later, as opposed to like 3.5-inch floppy. Yeah, good times. Is
that the only inch floppy there is? 3.5-inch?
Yes. No, it is not.
There's an assortment.
There's the other more common one. Well, not more common, but the one that its predecessor was the 5-inch floppy.
The average floppy, if you will.
Go ahead, Ned.
Oh, I see where you're going with all of this.
Thanks for coming to our 90s video games and sex joke podcast.
Don't mind me, I'm just digging my hole.
Oh boy. Who haven't we heard from yet? What other like nostalgia trips do we want to go down?
I had a few quick ones. The one that I like, the first, I'm realizing now, someone said it in chat, the first real like RPG game I got into was Spyro.
Oh,
put
yes!
some freaking time into that game. I got
that was
so
a good
into
one.
that game that in elementary school I had to write like a story about something, and I decided to make up this whole crazy Spyro story about like finding the dragon statues that you had to release to get more power, whatever the point of the game was. I kind of forget. But so there's that. There was my buddy had that game where you're those turtles. Or no, you're like the battle frogs or something, battle toads.
Yeah. Oh my god, with the ninja headbands around their heads. Yeah.
And then Sonic would be the other one for Sega. And then the last one I got was me and my cousin would play like NHL like 95. And I found out how to turn off the penalties. So we would play on the same team, and one person would just run into the goalie and push him out of the net, and the other person
just wail on him. There was a game we did something like that. My cousin and I we played. There was some baseball game. I think it was also on the SNES. But he was so much better than me at it, and I would always get so frustrated that like whenever it was my turn to pitch, I would just beat him over and over again.
Yes.
I would just knock him over.
Backyard baseball, that was.
Yeah, backyard baseball.
It was like, but yes, I do remember that one too.
Man, he was
the secret weapon.
He was the secret weapon.
Every backyard sport.
Even every backyard sport, he was the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Already.
Yeah, mine would be the Jurassic Park one.
Yeah.
I think it was Sega. Was it Sega?
I don't think I ever.
Yeah, and and you could either play as the person or the raptor, and I was always the raptor.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I was always the
That's so cool.
raptor.
You're like, I ain't no
Wow.
dummy.
Like, why would you ever choose to be a person if Velociraptor is an
Listen,
option?
Daniel finds a way. All right.
Dan.
Oh, and does
By the
anyone
way.
remember? I can't remember the name. It was like it wasn't Street Fighter. It was Street something. But like there's like a kid on rollerblades with boxing gloves was one of the characters.
That sounds
Are you talking?
dangerous.
Are you talking about My Street?
Is that what it was? And then
I
there was like
literally-
a big bulky guy. There was like
I just posted about My Street in the chat. Is it where you go to the kid's house and you play marbles?
oh
think-
no.
I don't
this
think
was
you guys
like,
are talking about the
a
same game.
side-scroller, like fighting game.
Disappointment.
Yeah,
Campbell's
sorry.
disappointment.
And one of the characters is this kid on rollerblades who would punch in boxing gloves, and if you like beat the game, then you can unlock this like kangaroo you could play. That also I think had boxing
That makes
gloves,
sense.
maybe. See it? I really want to know the name of the game now.
How about the old school PC, like Age of Empires, Age of Mythology?
Uh-huh.
In Age of
Well,
Mythology,
naturally.
you could unlock the bear with laser eyes with the cape that would fly around.
With the Canada flag for a cape.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do
what
not
did you
test
do
me
to
on
us?
Age Mythology, young
It
one.
is 6:28, and we are still
I just
talking
unlocked
about
some
video
memories is all.
games.
But yeah, no, I mean, I do love, like, PC has just always sort of been there for me. Like, I have ventured off into other systems for a time, but PC has always just been, it's always been like my comfort food. It's always there waiting for me when I get back. All my life, no matter what console I had, I always had something I was playing on PC as well.
Yeah.
Whether that was The Sims or The Sims 2 or The Sims 3
Mhm.
or Age of Empires or I don't know, Duke Nukem or whatever. Or actually, okay, the very first time I ever built a computer with my dad's help, the only reason that I wanted to do it was so that I could get Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Because
Oh my
because we had a PlayStation 2 at the time, but there was no way my mom was going to let that be in the house, like on the family TV. So I was like, "Hey, Dad, why don't we build a computer together? Wouldn't that be like a fun bonding experience?" And my dad,
Got
the huge
him.
nerd, was like, "Yes!" And then
Sneaky.
Grand Theft Auto.
You fool!
Yeah, check this out.
All right.
He, to this day, he loves the Grand Theft Auto games. Like when he came to look at my new PC, he was like, "You don't have Grand Theft Auto on this, do you?" I was like, "As a matter of fact, I do."
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Metroid Prime. Anyone?
Not me, but yes.
Call of Cthulhu, anyone?
All right. I
No,
see
not
what you did
tonight.
there, Trev. I see what you did there.
Trevor, I'm so grateful for Trevor being. Oh, he's always the one to be like, "Remember why we're really here, guys." All right, fine, Trevor. We'll play some Call of Cthulhu. Are you sure? Are you sure everyone in chat didn't just come to watch us, like,
Dick
talk about our own nostalgia? But perhaps you're right. Perhaps we should think about the things that happened last week. Last week was a kind of heavy episode. I was telling Campbell before we went live that it sort of had the energy of like a campfire scene in like an adventure movie, you know, where it's, you know, everyone's just sort of like putting their affairs in order before going off to some heroic battle from which they may never return. Which I don't know. Do you guys feel like you're on your way to some heroic battle from which you may never return?
Always, every day of my life.
I plead the fifth.
I just know it's like, is that really what you think? Do you think I would be so cruel as to murder these characters into which you've put so much love and attention,
Let me
or
think
you know,
about
perhaps
that
just
for a
make them
minute.
go insane?
Let me
Wow,
think about that for a
I
minute.
believed you until you said that second part. I was like,
Absolutely.
I was on the line.
Fair enough. All right. Well, hey, I won't spoil anything for you. I'll let you all make your own predictions as you see fit. But let's do that. Let's do that thing where everyone talk a little bit about what your characters went through last time. So why don't we start with Dan? Let's start with you. What happened to Hugsley last time?
Yeah, last time Hugsley tried getting some rest in Buddy's dirty ass house.
My God!
Wow.
And so Hugsley
Wow.
Hugsley waited for everyone to go to sleep, and then when
Goddamn.
they did, he like discreetly like cleaned up his little area, and then in the morning he tried as much as possible to recall and document the vision of the eye.
Yes,
And he
indeedy.
ate breakfast. He had some breakfast.
And there was breakfast. Breakfast was eaten.
Yeah. In my dirty ass house.
Ned,
You know it's dirty. Come on now.
Ned, that is meta knowledge. Just so you know, Buddy does not know that Hugsley feels that way, but Ned can know that Hugsley felt that way. Which I suppose can bring us to Ned as Buddy. Unless Stan, is there anything else that you want to mention from last week, or you good?
Yeah, the house is dirty. That's it.
Okay, cool. Just get that in one more time. All right, Buddy. Ned, what happened to Buddy last week?
Wow.
We learned what he sleeps in for one.
Shakes my head. I think Buddy went through his normal morning routine. Is exactly what he went through.
Same as he does every day.
As he does every day, and every day before that. And in addition to that, he made a phone call to his daughter. He had a very meaningful phone call to his daughter. And then he made another meaningful phone call. Actually, he received a phone call. It was not great news. Put him in a bit of a pickle, if you will.
I will.
Indeed, it did.
He will.
So that happened, and then he called up Pearson. Or no, Pearson called him, and then he called up Tom Jones. Is that what I said his name was?
Ford.
Tom Ford. His brother, Tom Jones. He works at the CIA.
Both great fashion designers.
Great people. Great guys. Real great guys. Yeah, so Tom Ford picked up and told me to keep kicking the can down the road. So I got that in my agenda as I move on forward.
Have you tried recycling?
Good Lord.
Oh boy. I don't have oh God. What do I gotta do to get some cricket sound effects on Syrinscape?
I got you.
I have a raven. It's not quite the same.
If your body's about to be feasted on, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Save that for Chris Estrad.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Ned, anything else for you or for Buddy? Any? So yeah, we spoke on the phone to Leah, Pearson, and Ford in that order.
And the operator. Don't forget the operator.
Of course, yeah.
I love the operator. I love the operator. More operator, please.
Or was it Beatrice? I don't remember. It was one of those two. I think they're just.
Whoever
I think
sounded
they're
like
just
they had a
interchangeable.
ready nose. Whoever it was sounded like they had a ready nose.
That was the first one. She didn't have a name yet.
It's like Nurse Joy. They're all the same. They're all the same
Yeah.
operator lady.
Exactly.
variation.
They're all just related to each other.
Each with a different askew wig.
All right, let's see. Tyler, tell us what happened to Benny last time. Tell us the story from the perspective of Benny.
Ooh, yeah, so Benny had a heartbreaking conversation with his wife, say goodbye to his kids without waking them, and then got to Buddy's house with the crew and got ready to smash some faces in the name of justice.
Yes.
And also very important, very ugly guy.
Oh, right.
That's right. I keep
Completely
forgetting.
forgotten, Tyler.
I keep forgetting, yeah.
Let me write that down. Hold on, let me write that down.
I will reiterate, Tyler, the more you
Very
say it, the less
ugly.
people believe it.
Yeah, the hotter he gets.
Oh boy. He's gonna
All right,
be
let's
by the end of this.
Let's take a jump over to Trevor as Dicky. What happened? Tell us the story from the perspective of Dicky last time, Trev.
Well, Heartbreak was sort of the name of the game last week, I guess.
It's true.
But I feel like Dicky was doing his best to sort of keep morale up last time. I mean, we went through a lot out at the farmhouse, out at the barn. And so Dicky was trying to, just boost everybody a little bit. I talked with Buddy in the morning and, just let him know that we're all in this together. And I tried to back up Sweetie when we went over to the over to the church and had a bit of a tense run-in with the father. And I think Dicky decided that if he survives all this, he's going to try to become a priest.
Oh, whoa.
Really?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we'll
Wow.
see.
Interesting. Okay.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know if the chat might have some things to say about that.
Yeah, they might not agree with that.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think maybe you'll just have to compromise. You'll have to be very particular about which denomination you become a priest for.
Well, I'm very, I'm going to be very progressive.
Okay.
Progressive.
Okay. They might be okay with that.
How do you feel about a youth leader instead of a priest? Like, you could be like hip,
Sit on a chair
Be like-
backwards and wear a baseball cap.
that.
Listen, fellow youths.
Listen, kids, doing drugs is not cool.
This is what happens as you take off your face.
Oh no!
Oh,
This went from youth leader to scared straight real quick.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Based
that's
on drugs.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This happened. This
that's
happened
it.
to me after only one jazz cigarette.
That's awesome.
This is what angel dust looks like.
Well, what, in like the 20s, they'd probably be like, "This is what marijuana does."
Yeah.
It melts your
Yeah,
face.
marijuana is still the worst thing on everybody's mind in 1920.
Love it.
Or maybe the opium. Anyway,
Anyway, Campbell, tell us what happened from the perspective of Sweetie McLintock last time.
Oh, all right. Well, first up, I puked.
Indeed, you did. Yeah.
And then I nearly had a bout of madness. And so I decided to take a shower and reset and just give a few less fucks about the things I generally give many, many fucks about. I had breakfast with everybody, and then I fibbed a little bit to the group about going to confession because I really needed. Oh God, I just became Winnie. I really needed.
It's not before.
Crossover sense.
Because I needed to have a word with the father because I could not get out of my head the interaction I had had with Arnold McDermott the night before when he had mentioned that the father was up to some shit and it seemed to be one of the most vivid things in his mind in his state.
Yeah, he had some. He was able to conjure up some memories. Which, yeah, I mean, all just came down to you rolling so well on that. I think it was a charm roll that you nailed it. Yeah.
Here we
stuff.
are.
Some spooky stuff is going on in a Mayfield. So, my dear investigators, I think now is probably the time to take a deep breath. Move your mics away from your mouths, please. And just try to as we've just brought the memories of our investigators back to the fore of our minds. Just try to jump into them a little bit. Before you do, take just a quick moment to remind yourself that you are in a place surrounded by people who love you and support you, and that you're very safe and loved. And then once you feel secure in that knowledge, you can take it out of your mind and put it into a nice, neat little box and put it just in front of you, just out of reach, where it's far away enough that you can forget that it exists if you need to dive into the story a bit, but there in case you need to reach it if you're feeling vulnerable. And then just take all those memories and all of that tension and all of that fear and like a oversized pair of sweatpants to slide them right on. When last we left our investigators, I believe we were standing just outside, or perhaps just in the, I don't know if this is the right word, but fuck it, vestibule of Saint Philomena's, the Roman Catholic Church of Mayfield, Ohio, having confronted Father Fitzgerald and seen if you could all get a little bit more information out of his very stoic demeanor. And I believe you had mentioned last time that next on the docket was to go visit the Steakhouse. Before you have some plans to join Father Fitzgerald himself there at 7 p.m.
Oh, man.
But that's but one option that lays before you. The time is yours.
I say we head over to the steakhouse and be, a little fashionably early.
It's
so to
10
speak.
in the morning.
Listen,
Right?
I don't know about you, but I'm always hungry for steak.
Hey, we could get some steak and eggs. We could also stake out the place.
I like your thinking
Oh.
there,
Okay.
Hugsley. Love it.
Well, unless there's any other business anybody wants to sort out, I'm pretty eager to get this stuff concluded as quickly as we can.
hmm That's certainly the next thing on the docket. Is there anything anybody needs to do around town before, because we'll be getting there 9 hours early?
Is there anything that you learned from the priest in there? Anything useful, or is that just moot?
Much the same.
Oh, he's a real
Much the
piece of
same.
shit. That's
You
what I
know,
found out.
It's the same shit we've been hearing from everybody about who saw
That's
what
it.
and who's
Right.
looking back and something about the
Uh-huh.
stars. And we've got to.
Yeah.
It just reminded me that we got to keep an eye
shit.
out. Same shit. We got to
Got
keep
it.
an eye out for that telescope.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we gotta find.
Where the hell would they be keeping a telescope?
I
I
mean,
mean,
we're
something
going.
to see something that big.
That's a good question.
I mean, listen, I'm the last person to be studying books and knowing stars and shit, but last I checked,
Okay.
you need something big to see that, right?
Okay, can I do a roll to see if, in my studies at the college and the town, if I would know a good potential spot for where the telescope might be?
Sure. I guess that could be. Well, what do you think? What would you want to roll against that? So you're trying to recall if there are places where
Yeah, like my initial
stargazing
impulse.
is common. I guess.
My initial impulse is that it's like, if anything, the university might have equipment for it, and if it's not the university, maybe I would have been like, hey, well, maybe this spot in town actually might be a better spot for it.
Sure. So in that case, yeah, I think no, you do not need to roll. You do know that yes, the university where you are employed does have an observatory. You also, I mean, just flipping back through what you've heard so far, you don't really remember anything that would indicate that it needs to be that level of of intricacy. You don't think that it needs to be like a huge observatory like the university one. Just based on what you've heard so far, all you know is some kind of telescope.
I
Could
think.
be a big
Well,
one,
didn't we?
could be a small one.
Didn't we learn that it's at the steakhouse? Didn't we learn that the steakhouse is where they've been bringing people to do whatever it is they're doing?
I feel like I have a sneeze coming on, so maybe it'll happen or maybe not. Here it is. Excuse me.
Bless.
Zoom tight.
So you've heard that, like, you don't know for certain that things happen to people there. Only that conversations are had. Conversations that perhaps lead to things happening.
Well, if it's not there, then we might be able to find a clue to where it is. So I think that's our first stop.
All right.
Or
Remember
you want to check on your buddy, Mr. Pearson? He was acting a little funny last time we saw him. You think it's worth checking in on him?
Everybody in town who's looked through this telescope is acting funny. I think the best way to help all of them is to find it.
Yeah, we can always pay a visit to Mr. Pearson a little bit later. You know?
All right, let's go get some steak and eggs, y'all.
All right.
In the roadster.
So you all hop into the roadster. Hop in the roadster.
Second breakfast.
I don't know that we discussed this last time, and it's what are you just leaving the folks you got out of the barn at Buddy's house?
Are they
That's
still-
that's the plan.
Yeah.
Are they still being pretty placid?
Well, I checked on them this morning, and they were all pretty out of it.
Did we leave them any food?
I think you tried once. I might be
Been
misremembering,
eating.
but I feel like at one point you offered one or more of them food, and they refused.
We put like a
Annabelle was
bowl
not
of
about
water
it.
next
Right.
in the middle of the room, and then like a bowl of like
Kibble?
No, we cannot.
We put a can of beans with a can opener in there with a bowl of water. They're fine. Put a litter box in the corner. They're good.
Cool. All right. The other question I have is, what are you all doing with the Twin Six, the Packard Twin Six, Arnold's car?
Oh,
Well, let's should we
Burn
bring
it.
that too. We
Buddy,
can go in 2
you'll,
cars.
Buddy could take care of that.
Take care of that. Okay. So
take care
it's
of it.
What do you mean by take care of it?
Don't worry what I mean about take
Why
care
don't
of
you?
it.
Why don't you just park it back at his house? Why don't we just park it back at his house so that when he's all right again, he can have his car?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that'll take care of it. Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I won't make you play that out, but we can say
I
that
want to
you.
say for the record, you guys are no fun.
We already let you burn down a house.
We can't
buddy.
let
Let's
you
go.
burn his car. Also, what about the guy? What about the guy who was not out of it? The guy we kind of took prisoner.
Oh, don't worry about him.
Now I'm
Aren't you
very
talking to
worried.
Kay?
Yeah, no. So he was pretty out of it too, sweetie. When you saw him in the morning, he was the only one of that group that you restrained. I believe Buddy said he
Yes.
was like handcuffed.
He's the
to
only
bed.
one that's handcuffed to a steel bed frame. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
That said, that was the only thing different about him from the rest of those barn folks, is that he was the one chained up. But he, just like everybody else, was kind of just staring off into space. Maybe a little bit of drool coming outside of their mouth. One eye kind of dilated and bloodshot.
Yikes.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So the barn folks are staying at Buddy's as they were, and the pack of twin sex we are dropping off at Arnold McDermott's house. Currently empty since Arnold and Gladys are both at Buddy's. Okay. Cool. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So you all hop in the in the roadster, and you make your way over to Elmer's Steakhouse. Elmer's Steakhouse is one of like the 2 restaurants in Mayfield. There's a nice restaurant, which is Elmer's, and then there's like a diner, which is called Mother Baker's, as a matter of fact. But so you make your way to Elmer's Steakhouse, and yeah, it's just they're really close to each other. These 2 restaurants, they're both on that like main business strip that goes through the center of Mayfield. Probably not too far from the movie theater, Dicky. And so from the outside, it's just got like a nice brick exterior. There's like a very well painted sign that says Elmer's Steakhouse.
All right. What's our entry plan here? Should we try to sneak around back, or just knock on the front door, see if anybody's home?
Is it open this early in the morning?
Well, let's find out. I'll walk up and what you have? I mean, does it look open, or does it look closed?
It's kind of hard to. Well, let's see. There is a you would get the sense whether that's through some windows or just from like the general atmosphere. There is a little bit of activity inside.
So as Dicky's like getting out of the car, Buddy's gonna put an arm on his shoulder and go, "Hey, easy there, Tiger." And he's gonna point to like the inside. Maybe like some of the curtains aren't drawn in one of the windows. And I want to do can I do a spot hidden? I want to see if I see any bodies in there.
Sure.
That's a 29 under 45.
Okay. From the window that you choose, Buddy, you can see straight through the restaurant. It looks at this point pretty normal, very clean, like a restaurant that is operating as usual. And you can see even all the way back to like the doors into the kitchen. You know how they always have those doors that kind of swing both ways so that people can just open them with their body as they carry a tray. There are some people in there just going about restaurant-y stuff. There's not too much activity like front of house right now, but you can see movement in the back. You can see like someone like chopping some potatoes.
So Buddy's gonna do the eyes to Dicky and just go point in to show that like there are people inside.
Oh, I got an idea. Let's pretend to be health inspectors.
That's
We're
not a bad idea.
We're gonna be here for dinner tonight, so don't make any promises you can't keep.
Hold on,
Well,
hold
maybe
on.
if the inspection goes good, we decide to come back and eat.
I got this. All right, let's go.
Benny takes the hat and
Yeah.
puts it on. Okay, I'm
Here.
good too.
Benny, wear this. Yeah, exactly.
You're good. You're good at fast talking, buddy. Say we're health inspectors, right? And we need to like inspect their health or something. That'll get us. Then we can get into the freezer. Then we can get into the office. You know what I mean? Like, then maybe they'll let us poke around the place if they think we're from the government or whatever.
Should
bad
some
idea.
of us stay outside?
I was
Because
actually
6
wondering
health
if-
inspectors seems like a lot.
I was wondering. Let's split up. What
That's a great
if-
idea, Daphne.
What? Zoinks, Hugsley. What if? All right, I have an idea. So y'all are going to do the health inspector thing. Hugsley, do you want to be a team?
Yeah, let's team it up.
All right, so here's my idea. If y'all are going in the back, we can check out the whole seating area because we can go in and say that we have a large party that's joining us later tonight.
Oh, that's
And
good.
we're looking for a spot that might accommodate that. We've got a special guest. We want to see if there's like a round booth that can take all a bunch of us, and maybe we can get a look around the dining room while y'all are in the back.
That's good. That's smart.
great.
That's
That's
good
great.
thinking,
Bad.
sweetie. That's good thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not too good at lying or fast talking. So how about I just sit out back, and if I hear anyone yell, I'll come in and punch the first person I see.
Well, I like your thinking. I like
That's a
your
plan.
thinking, Benny. However, I'm going to make a suggestion. How about you make a bird noise instead?
All right.
One of us needs to make the bird noise so
I'll
he
run
knows
in,
to come in.
Well,
then I'll punch the first person I see.
No, you don't just run in and make a bird noise and stop punching people. No, the signal needs to come from us, buddy.
Okay. So you
all right,
guys,
Benny, follow
you
me.
guys can call,
Look at me, Benny.
and then I could call, and then I run in and start punching people.
Close. You're getting closer. All right, Benny. Benny, look at me. Look at me in the eyes. All right, here we go. When you see somebody coming down the road,
Slow down now. You gotta. All right.
when you see
So
somebody,
you're making a bird noise.
no.
Benny, you play my husband.
Okay. So when do I get to punch somebody?
Yeah, let's get to the point. That's really what Benny wants to know. It's like,
Just
when does the
to-
punching start?
Why don't you stick with me and Hugsley?
Sure.
Okay. All right. How about this, sweetie? If you see someone that needs a punch, you point on them and you make a little bird noise. No.
I can do that.
Okay. That's great. Okay, so Sweetie, Hugsley, and Benny, you go up to the front and plan the dinner party. Buddy, you and me, we're going to go around to the back. You flash that badge of yours real quick. Give a knock. Say we're health inspectors. We got to, look over the meats or whatever. And and we'll poke around a little bit. And if anybody gets into any trouble, just scream sassafras at the top of your lungs, and we'll all come running.
And then I'll come and
it.
start punching.
Don't forget the bird noise,
When
Benny.
you
Don't
hear
forget the bird noise.
sassafras. All right.
So, all right, so we're getting rid of the bird noise and we're keeping sassafras.
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 Okay.
Because then you won't punch anybody in case an actual bird comes.
All right.
If they got a parrot inside or something.
Yeah, right.
All right. Good plan, team.
Cozy just said exactly what I was thinking, which was the mental image of Benny just running in and punching people and crowing like a bird. Like, I just imagine Benny. Busting through the door.
What the fuck?
I love it.
All right. Good
Okay.
work,
Now
team.
what makes more sense, team? Should the health inspectors go in first, or will that set people on edge? And maybe we should go in first.
That's a good idea.
think-
Why don't you y'all go first? That's a
And
good
we'll
idea.
catch-
Because
off
then
guard.
maybe if we seem fancy enough, we'll get the manager, and then
Mm,
y'all can get more of a run of the place.
that's a good idea.
Oh no, we can't get the manager. I can't remember
No.
who the manager is and whether or not we have killed
Felix.
him.
And yes,
Never mind.
Felix is dead. Felix the manager has been shot.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe you
remember
can
we
get.
burned him alive back at the house.
He was
Oh,
dead
we
at the
did not.
time.
He was dead.
He was dead at the time.
Don't make it worse
Jesus.
than it is.
What? I'm just saying the facts. We burned the bodies, didn't we?
Yeah, you okay? All right. Well,
right.
let's get in there before they burn the stakes.
Ready, team? I'm gonna go in the. I'm gonna
Hands
go
in.
in.
Hudson puts his
Sassafras
hand
on
in.
3.
1,
What are we saying?
2.
Sassafras on 3, but not
Ready.
the punching kind of sassafras.
Ready.
Poor Benny, this is all so confusing. His intelligence score is not high.
All right, here we go. 1,
1,
two,
2,
3.
3.
Sassafras.
And I walk right in the front door, walk up to the host stand.
Okay.
Buddy,
You do
Buddy
so.
hands his bowler hat to Dicky and goes, "Put that on."
Okay.
All right. So yes, following Sweetie first. All right. Yes, Sorry, I had to put things on the floor. Sweetie, you walk in, and much like Buddy saw from the outside, the restaurant is the front of the house is empty. You do hear the sounds of like plates clinking, burners going, making that sound from the back, stuff like that. You stand there for maybe a minute.
Is there a
and
bell?
Is there a what?
A bell.
A bell. Sure. We can say there's a bell. Just because I like that, and also because I think I have that sound effect somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Maybe I don't. Oh shoot. Do I?
You got this.
I thought I did. Nah, I have like phones and stuff. Never mind. Okay.
I'll ting the bell.
Mm-hmm. You ting the bell. Another minute passes. Nobody comes up.
Excuse me.
I will say, you do know, sweetie, that the restaurant is still closed, and this is a restaurant that is only open for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't do like breakfast or lunch service. This is, people go to Mother Baker's for that. This is Elmer's. You come here for a fancy dinner.
Then I'm gonna put my. I'm gonna do one of these. I'm just gonna start strolling around. I've got my hands behind my back. I'm just like, oh, what a beautiful place. And I start kind of strolling down along the tables, kind of looking at the like appraising the place.
Okay. You do so. And you just, all you see is just a very well kept, very neat, very clean, fancy looking restaurant. The tables aren't set yet. It's there, it looks like it's the tables aren't set yet. It's just everything is like just in the right place.
Is it one of those kitchens you can see into?
There are some like swinging doors that have windows in them. You can look inside.
Okay. I'm gonna walk back out the front door. Y'all, I just strolled all the way up and down the length of this place, and nobody came out to stop me. If we're going to get into some shenanigans and just like fuck the plan, now might be the time. It is closed, and nobody seems to be paying any attention.
Huh. Well, it's a shame we did all that planning, but sure,
It was great. It was a great
in.
plan. So maybe we like keep the plan, kind of. Maybe we stay in our teams, and if we get caught sneaking around, we can fall back on the.
All right, let's do that. Okay, let's go in. Is there like an upstairs to the rest? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there like offices?
There appears to be. Yeah, there's a second level.
Hey, worst comes to worst. We get in any trouble, let me do the talking. All right.
Sassafras.
So okay, why don't? All right, let's keep our teams. All right, why don't Sweetie, Hugsley, and Benny, you go upstairs, check out the second level. Buddy and I will scope out the kitchen and the freezer and whatnot. See what we can find. All right, let's go.
All right.
So me and Dicky go marching in the front door, and we're kind of walking back. And can I do a spot hidden as we're walking through the restaurant? See if there's anything that like seems weird or like out of place, or
sure.
Is there a pentagram on the wall, an upside down crucifix? That's a fail. That's a 84 over 45.
So no more than usual.
Yeah. If you had succeeded, maybe you would have seen the man wearing like robes and a goat skull behind the bar.
All right. Yeah,
Good morning. What can I get for you?
Good to see you again.
Some of the usual. I just pictured like the guy from The Shining, the bartender from The Shining. God,
Your
what a
money's
great
no
movie.
good here.
So then let's go back into the kitchen then. Me and Buddy.
Yeah.
I will also say before you do, Buddy, after your spot hidden, I know was a failure, but everything looks totally normal and very clean. But yes, you can make your way into the kitchen. Make your way into the kitchen.
Like my apartment, right? Not like my
no,
apartment.
nothing like your apartment. Oh my God forbid that pigsty. But so you make your way through the restaurant, summoning up all the official business demeanor that you possibly can. Just for funsies, give me a disguise roll.
I still have my army canvas bag over my shoulder with my rifle in it.
That's fine.
So you know.
Okay, I won't let that have any bearing on the roll. You can just give me a straight disguise.
Oh man.
It's a health inspecting scope.
Yep. That's a 72 over 5.
That's a 25 over 5.
Wow. Yeah, not many of you put anything into disguise, did you? Yeah, this is a health inspector. This is the healthometer in this bag. But yeah, so okay. Yeah, you walk in and
that's where the fast talk comes in, Kay. The fast talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember?
Exactly. I did say it was just for fun. So you walk in and you go into the kitchen and yeah, it's again pretty normal. Not too much noise going on just yet. There are maybe like 5 people in there. And there's somebody washing dishes, there's somebody like chopping potatoes, and just they're doing all the things in a kitchen in a restaurant that you would do like throughout the day to get ready for the evening. Like in restaurants I used to work in, like all day they were making potatoes au gratin, and then like that was just what they were doing during the day, among other things, but that's the thing I remember, oddly enough.
So Buddy walks in and Buddy just goes, "Who's in charge here?"
We're health inspectors. We're here for your meat.
Would you like more proof?
Thank you, Dicky.
I can see his eyes. So you do so, and everybody who's in the kitchen, give me a spot hidden.
That is an 8 under 45.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a hard.
Wait, am I in the kitchen or I'm upstairs?
You're upstairs,
That's up to you. You went upstairs? Okay. All right, so we'll come to you next.
73 over 25.
Okay. So, Buddy, when that is said, you can tell for the most part, 4 of the men in this kitchen all just continue to go about their business like they didn't even hear you.
Yeah.
The guy washing the dishes, his ear kind of perks up to you, and he sort of pauses what he's doing and kind of looks towards you. With that low of a roll as well, his eye is messed up.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Oh shit!
So Buddy is gonna do. He's gonna tap Dicky's arm. He's gonna do 1, 2. Actually, can I do something kind of cool? I want to try
By
to
all
do.
means, yeah.
I want to try to do real cool.
What kind of keeper would I be? No, you can't do
No.
anything cool. Not in my game.
Buddy is gonna real quickly tap Dicky's arm in Morse code. Look at the eye.
Wow.
I would know Morse code. I was
yeah,
in the
I'm sure
army.
you would. Yeah.
So-
Absolutely, you would.
And Buddy being out west and having to communicate with people east back when they were settled in the west, he had to do Morse code because they didn't have telephones. So
Yeah.
he taps his arm and he does the 2 fingers and he goes, "Look at left eye," and then he goes, "Hey sir, listen," and he flashes his code open and he says, "Mayfield Health Inspection. We're just doing a routine check. Buddy Wilson here. Just need to see your fridge and need to see that your freezers are all in order. That's about it. No mice, no rats, nothing like that."
Okay.
And I'll roll a
Fast talk?
yeah. That is a 17 under 45.
Okay, great. All right, let's see. So you do that, and first and foremost, when you get this man's attention, and he looks up at the 2 of you, I don't know if Buddy would recognize him, but Dicky, you do. This is Leonard Elmer, the owner of Elmer's Steakhouse.
Is washing dishes?
Is washing the dishes.
That's not right.
It's a good owner.
So
What a good guy.
he's washing dishes.
Betty's like, what a guy.
That shows real leadership.
Scott, I'd
really-
like to work for it right there.
It truly does. I know, right? So he's washing the dishes, and Buddy, you say this, and he sort of looks at you, but like not making eye contact with you, as you've seen before. Kind of looking past your shoulder a little bit. Goes, oh, should I look for Felix? I don't think I've seen him yet this morning.
Oh.
He's the manager.
Pardon me, but Mr. Elmer, I mean, he may manage, but unless I'm much mistaken, being a health inspector and all, I'm very familiar with the owners of the various establishments about town. Are you not the owner of this fine establishment?
He nods.
Oh, you're the owner. Well, that's sir. That's all the authorization we need. Honestly, if you just want to hand over the key to the to the freezer and whatnot, we can take a quick look and we can check underneath the stoves and underneath the cabinets. And he kind of he kind of looks back, like kind of leaning back to look underneath like one of the stove consoles and be like, we can take a quick sweep and make sure everything's kosher, if you know what I'm saying, and we'll be out of here in no time.
He just continues nodding. He has like a little bit of a confused look on his face. Freezer's open.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll just go have a check round back, and as long as everything is up to code and all, we'll be out of your hand. Please carry on with your business. Pretend we're not here.
I'm here if you need anything at all. Make yourselves at home.
Will do. And Buddy will give him kind of like a pat on the shoulder and walk past him and like kind of nod to Dicky like, come on, this guy's obviously not giving us any trouble.
How many? And as soon as we're like,
out of your shot,
when we make our way like maybe into the freezer or something.
Yeah.
How many people have they gotten to in this town? How have we not noticed any of these eyes before? Have we all been blind? How many people have they gotten to?
I don't know, Dicky, but maybe it's just now all happening all at once. Mm-hmm. Maybe they were, plants. You know what I mean?
Well,
like they were planted here.
All the more reason to get to the bottom of this. Come on, let's check out the freezer.
So we do a spot hidden of the freezer. Is that a safe roll? Okay.
Spot hidden freezer? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Is that a safe roll? He
And
asks.
you just went insane. Congratulations.
That is a 25 under 45, so that's a regular success, Kay.
All the stakes are well done. Roll a sanity check.
No!
Oh God, they're eating it with ketchup.
Oh, 97! Steak sauce on a medium rare steak. Ah! Okay. That's a little restaurant humor for all you waiters and waitresses out there. Tip your waiters, try the steak.
So a successful spot hidden inside the freezer. You see the ordinary contents of a freezer, and did they have walk-in fridges back then? I don't know. Probably. Excuse me. Yeah, you see just like the regular contents of a restaurant. Here too, nothing looks out of the ordinary. So far, the only thing out of the ordinary maybe you've seen was Leonard Elmer washing dishes. But back here, just a bunch of meat, potatoes, vegetables, eggs, milk, stuff that is very commonly found in a restaurant of this caliber.
Buddy, as he's looking, is going to take a look around. He's going to look in. He's going to look at the steaks. He's going to grab a New York strip.
No, we're not stealing.
Hey. Listen. It's good quality steak. Right? He's going to put it inside of his vest. And he's going to go, all right. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Let's go check the freezers. Let's go check the fridge.
We'll just carry over the spot hidden. The fridge also has nothing out of the ordinary, just like greens for salads and pre-prepared, pre-made béarnaise sauce, or perhaps hollandaise. I don't know, whatever. Just all the stuff.
So
all regular old
just
stuff.
everything in the back in the kitchen area. Everything seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Buddy looks at Dicky and he just goes, nothing.
All right, Mr. Elmer. Everything seems, healthy.
Up to code. Up to code.
Up to code.
We'll be back in about 30 days since our last inspection. So let's see. What's the day? Mr. Elmer, do you know the date off the top of your head?
Does he know the date off the top of his head? Loading.
Cool.
It's a day.
Sure fucking is, Benny. Benny's just standing at the back door, fist up. Ready to go.
Did somebody say cacaw?
So, Buddy, you know today to be Friday, February 11th, 1927. So just you have that in your head, and he sort of he looks up for a second and just like looks up from his dishes as you say this, and he gets this today is the 4th.
Why, thank you, Mr. Elmer. You're right. It is the 4th. And I make eyes with Dicky, and I'm like, way off. Like, way fucking off.
Yeah, he thinks it's a week before.
Yeah. Friday, sorry.
That's right. Friday, February 4th.
Friday, February 4th, 1927. If I could, Mr. Elmer, if I could just have your signature here, and he like kind of holds out. It's a blank piece of paper.
Yeah. You give him a pen?
Yeah.
His hand's still wet from the dish pit. He grabs the pen and like splattering water all over the paper, signs his name. The ink is running. It's like barely legible, but he doesn't even look. He's just...
Right. Thank you, Mr. Elmer. We'll be on our way.
You'll be happy to know, Mr. Elmer, you've received the highest grade possible, and I just want you to know you've done a great job here, and everything's going to be okay.
He gives he kind of takes even through like his kind of daze that he's in, he sort of takes a bit deeper of a breath, and like this ever so slight smile kind of plays on his face and goes, only the best.
Yeah, only the best.
All right, Mr. Elmer, you have yourself a great day now, okay? And I kind of like yank Dicky by the arm, and I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
Kind of head up in front.
No, let's go.
He says nothing. He resumes washing dishes.
All right.
So as soon as we get through the swinging double doors, I look at Dicky and I'm like, holy hell, he's lost his damn mind.
Let's go see what they're up to upstairs.
Yeah, I agree. Oh,
Meanwhile,
give me that hat back, by the way.
No, sure.
Yes. Okay. So Benny's upstairs, and Hugsley and Sweetie are with him. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah, all
Okay.
three of them are upstairs.
Okay. So upstairs at the restaurant. Wait, what? I didn't. Whatever.
It's ready.
I'm just fists are loaded in
Yeah,
case
he's got
anyone.
fist primed and ready.
Charmy typed in the chat, Falcon
spaghetti.
Punch!
Show your moves.
Or I'll get in that old timey pose.
Yeah, right. That like.
Bully!
you listen here, see?
Punch you in the mush, see?
Pile crimson your face. So yeah, upstairs. Upstairs there are it's very quiet upstairs. There is like the stairs going up, which the stairs are like right by the kitchen door, so they go up into just like a neat clean hallway, with just like 3 or 4, there are like 4 doors off of this hallway, all closed.
I'm gonna start throwing doors open, and I'm looking for one with more stairs, Like I'm seeing if anything leads further up first.
Okay.
Before I go investigate any of the rooms.
Sure. The first door you throw open is empty. It's just a bathroom. Just a small. You get the sense that this is like an employee restroom. It's small. It's neat, but very bare. Like downstairs, there's like the fancy towels and everything else. Up here, it's just like just the essentials, but very neat still. The second door you open is what looks like it could about the size of like a bedroom, with a bunch of like empty bedrolls around the floor, about like 5 or 6 maybe, sort of just around the room.
Hugsley,
Go ahead.
look at this.
Hugsley walks over.
I'm gonna like gently move some stuff around and see if I can find any personal possessions that might have been left behind.
Sure.
If there were people like sleeping here.
Yeah. So you do so. You go and like flip through some things here. There are a few things. Not really much. Just like a couple of changes of clothes. But all the clothes you see are like restaurant uniform clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And in here, it's so like each bedroll maybe has like a bag with, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more sets of like kitchen clothes, with them.
Oh. Are they not leaving? Do you think that's what this is? Is everybody who's here is just staying here at night?
I don't know what to make of this. Like, I haven't seen too many homeless people in Mayfield since I've been here. Are there a lot of folks in this kind of position in town?
I think it's the employees. It looks like they're waking up here in the morning maybe and then going down to work.
Ned, move your mic.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm back.
All right. I'm gonna
You think they're not allowed to go?
maybe not. I don't know anybody who works here, but maybe we should. Oh gosh, I don't even know what to do, but like call somebody's house and see if they've been coming home. But I wouldn't know who to call.
Let me take a look. Hugsley's going to do a spot hidden and try to see if there's any signs that someone will be held against their will.
Okay. What do you want to look for that? I'll let you choose.
A spot hidden.
Okay.
And you got a 64 under 65.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Close one.
Yeah, so nothing in the room that would indicate that people are being like locked in here. And yeah, no, in fact, there's not. The door doesn't even have a lock on it.
Yeah, and as that conversation's going on, Benning's getting nervous, and he's kind of like looking outside, and he's like, yeah, it looks like something funny's going on here, but we better keep moving.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna go open the next door.
Okay. The next door looks identical to the previous door, save for the fact that the bedrolls all have people in them.
Ah!
So yeah, again, just for fun, give me a stealth roll.
Oh, fuck.
Sassafras!
He starts swinging.
Okay.
All right, so I run into the room and just start punching the first person. I heard sassafras. I'm calling and punching.
You did not.
Punch the first person. Punch the next person.
Dicky is not upstairs. There was no sassafras.
Rewind.
I got a 39 under 60.
Nicely done. Okay. Yeah. Whoever is closest to you just like stirs and just falls back asleep. It's sort of that thing where they're like,
They look
You know.
like all? Are they all like? How big is this room? Are they like all on top of each other? Does it look uncomfortable?
In terms of space, no. They each have like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it ideal, but everyone has sort of like their own little area. No one's like on top of each other. But
Okay.
there, it's tight quarters. But there again are maybe like 6 people in this room, all just in their little bedrolls.
Do we
How-
see
what-
again like bags around?
Mhm.
Okay.
What does the room smell like? Like, is it clean?
Yeah. Yeah, I won't make you roll on it. It's much like everything else you've seen so far. Everything is just like very neatly appointed and just like just like put together. Kind of, I keep hitting my microphone. Just like everything in its place. And yeah, no like weird smells or anything.
Hugsley is going to pull out his notebook and he's going to count the number of people.
Okay, 6. Let's say 6. Yeah.
Bunny's gonna
6, and then how
slowly
many empty
shut
bedrolls
the
were there in the other room?
Mm-hmm.
We can say 6 there as well.
All right.
Yeah, 6 and 6.
All right, so Hugsley, sweet,
Let's go get and I'll yeah, closing the door.
and so and then I go to Sweetie. So there was 6 empty cots in that other room, and in that room there was 6 non-empty cots.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, A, what are these people doing here, and B, where are the other 6?
Well, I think we ought to count who all's downstairs right now, and
Yeah.
that might just be the next shift.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you think we checked out everything up here? Hugsley looks
One
down
more
the hall to
door.
see if there's any more room.
There's one more
He's,
door.
he's gonna go. I like that plan. I want to check this last door first. All right, and then he super carefully walks over and super carefully turns the knob and super carefully opens it.
Well, he tries. This is the one door that is locked.
Oh,
Ooh, ooh.
Shit. Did we search Felix's body? He might have a key on him. It doesn't
we
matter.
found
know-
some of his stuff.
Yes,
I
we
know. I
searched
believe
all the
you
bodies.
said you did.
'Cause I found some guns.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he had weapons on them, and I think I probably just didn't mention. But yes, we can say that he had some keys on him, like a ring of keys.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of you probably has that.
Ooh. So who
Is
has
it in my huge purse?
Yes.
That seems like the
Sure,
appropriate
sure.
place for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dicky was the one who was searching his body, so sure, we could say Dicky that you handed this ring of keys over to Sweetie.
Sweetie's bag of
First-
holding.
I'm gonna just
Yeah.
press my ear to the door, and I'm just gonna wait real quiet and see if I hear like snoring, any movement inside. Actually, I'll get down on the floor and I'll look under while I do it so I can see if there's any light, any movement.
Sure. Okay. Give me both a listen and a spot hidden.
Okay. Okay. Damn. I barely failed the listen,
Okay. Silence.
and I got an 11 under 60. No, not 60. An 11 under 25 for the spot hit.
Okay, so you don't hear anything. You also don't see anything.
Okay.
No motion.
How many keys are? Oh, I'll fish in my huge purse,
Okay.
and be like, Dicky found some keys on that body back at the house. Should we just start
Yeah,
trying
give it a go.
keys?
Give it a go.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there aren't many on the keychain. Maybe only like 4. But as you work your way through, this one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. One of them does, and you hear the lock.
Eddie, get over here.
I just give you the nod and I get ready for sassafras.
And I'll real slowly open the door so that as light goes into the room, we kind of have a heads up on whatever's inside.
Okay.
And Benny's leading, ugly face in front.
All right, yeah. So you open the door, and inside, there's still no movement, but you open the door. No people are inside. This just looks like the office. There is an office to this restaurant. There's a desk with some papers sort of strewn about. a chair behind them. It's it's again just like pretty neat, pretty well appointed. Well, maybe perhaps a little less neat. Like the desk, like this is there's like sort of desks. There's like a few papers sort of strewn about.
I'm gonna go over to the desk and kind of start picking up papers, and then look over at Hugsley and be like, I don't even really know what I'm looking for.
I know a little bit of accounting. Let me see if I can make any sense.
Okay.
And he goes over and takes a gander.
Okay. So do you want to roll? You're trying to see if there's like ledgers and like accounting related papers on this thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, could library use come in handy here too? If I'm trying to see if there's any information to gain.
Sure.
I'll do that instead.
Okay.
And I'll be looking out from the.
Sure.
I'll be standing at the door.
So Hugs is looking at these papers and he goes I can't make heads or tails.
Okay,
As
so
I'm,
Fayle.
oh yeah, go ahead, Kay.
Oh, okay. So I'll say, so like you don't see anything that would indicate, or that we can say sure. Like there are some papers that have like sort of ledgery kind of stuff. Nothing quite as detailed as what was in that book that you found at the barn. Farm is the word I was looking for. Sorry, wait. Fam is the word I was looking for.
In the back.
At the farm. But you do see some of those papers. Some of those papers have like diagrams on them. Diagrams that almost look like well, let's see. Sweetie, I'll let you roll too. Give me like either well, I guess library use. Library use, or I would also accept like education, I think. Yeah.
Very smart, but I don't go to the library a lot.
Okay.
Can I just
And I already used mine, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna spend can I just spend 6 luck
Of course.
to
Yeah.
get that education?
You can. Okay. So thinking back to some of the things you found at the barn as you're looking at these diagrams, you can tell that these are also relevant to the creation of corn sugar.
What in the world?
Corn sugar, and then and then you keep looking, and there are like these drawings, these like sort of almost scientific diagrams of like these big vats and like equipment that you think would be used in the distilling process.
Do you tell me this?
Yeah.
So then Hugs is gonna go, oh, corn sugar, and he digs in his bag and he pulls out the notebook he got from Benny with the molecule, showing the molecules. And then he's also going to try to see if there's any connections he can make from anything in the notebook and in these papers.
Sure. So I mean, I'll let Sweetie's success in like sharing that information with you sort of carry over. Some of the diagrams look like other ones in the book where like corn sugar is relevant. The book doesn't really contain anything about the stills, but you are getting, and then like it's almost like that scene from Ratatouille with the food critic where it like goes into his eyes, and it's like we see Buddy sort of like put the pieces together as you realize that you saw a mob boss at the farm the other day. And you, like, it clicks for you that corn sugar is one of the primary ingredients in distilling alcohol.
Yes.
We're in prohibition, aren't we?
Wow.
So
yeah,
you are getting the sense that somehow Felix was in connect, and like Felix had that phone number. So Felix is somehow the one who is in contact with this this underboss of the Cleveland crime family, and perhaps they are looking to expand their production to, I mean, let's say like a farm to table operation. They're trying to get control of the farm out here in Mayfield, where they can grow the corn on their property. They can convert that corn into corn sugar. And then either on site or in Cleveland, they can still that corn sugar into alcohol.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Do you tell me all that?
Yeah. So Hugsley goes. Uh, I don't know too much about this, but what I do know is that corn sugar can be used and fermented into alcohol. And with these mob bosses involved at the farm, I'm guessing they're trying to link something up and create a whole situation out here in Mayfield. These are just hunches. There isn't some disembodied person telling me all this information somewhere, but I think it's pretty accurate.
This is a fucking conspiracy.
And I think this is just the surface.
We are in so over our heads now.
I know, isn't it exciting?
That's great.
One thing I'll just quickly add, Hugsley, since we're thinking back to the farm, some of you I think were able to remember like hearing about Salvatore Black Sam Totaro, and you know that shoot, I always forget whether it's the Pirellos or the Lombardos who are currently in control of the Cleveland crime family. I think it's the Lombardos. Or Leonardo, rather. So the Leonardo crime family is currently in charge of Cleveland. So like you remember, and Buddy probably told you, because I think he was the one who remembered hearing about him, like telling you that this was like this was like a big player. This is like the Jack. You know how they always do like a deck of cards for crime families? This guy's like the Jack. And you know that his boss, the King, is like right now the biggest corn sugar baron in the Midwest.
So
what in the hell?
Do they grow corn at the farm? Is that the idea? They wanted to take over the farm to get the corn to distill it.
To burn it down.
That's the impression you're getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what does this have to do with the weirder shit? The supernatural shit.
Maybe there's some kind of contaminant in the alcohol. Maybe they're taking some kind of shortcut, made some kind of doing something they shouldn't be doing to speed up the business. I don't know.
Let's go down and tell everybody what we found. And just
right.
Before we go, I'm going to real quick just like shuffle. I'm going to make sure that there's no desk drawers that are locked.
Mm-hmm. There are not. We can say that the let's see. I will say just right now, there's nothing else that I'll like make you roll for in this office. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I just want to like throw in for funsies.
I was gonna like shuffle around and just see. I was looking for anything religious. That was what I was like had my eyes peeled for, to try and figure out what Father Fitzgerald's connection to all this is. Just as I'm shuffling before we leave.
Sure. Yeah, so if you're looking specifically for like religion and Father Fitzgerald stuff, you don't see his you don't see anything overtly, like there's no crosses or anything. But you do see we can say that there are also like ledgers here and keeping track of guests' tabs and stuff. You do see that Father Fitzgerald has a tab with the restaurant.
A big one?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. All right. Let's go.
One that is regularly paid off. You don't get the impression that he's like in debt to this restaurant, but you see that the number gets bigger and then back to zero and then bigger and then back to zero, and then all that you really get the sense of is that he's here a lot.
And it's covered. Somebody's
He's not in debt to the restaurant.
I'm gonna if that's like a piece of paper or something, I'm just gonna fold that up and put that in my huge purse.
Do you wanna look at it anymore?
I would love to.
So looking through the paper as you're like looking for Father Fitzgerald's name, you see a few more familiar names. You see Pearson. You see Lowry. You see Taramai. He's keeping track of his own expenditures as well. And then you see one you don't recognize. Hart. Hart.
Hart.
And one thing of note with Hart is that early on, if you sort of go up to the top of the page, where these names, like these tabs were all started, you can see that there is a name underneath Hart that is scribbled out. But then you can also see that the number next to Hart's name then changes, as if someone was dining with him and Felix's assumption was that he would have his own tab. But then Hart may have said, "It's okay, I've got him."
Huh. So wait, so somebody's dining with Hart,
Yep.
and that person is kind of like,
A name is sort of scribbled out. Yeah.
all right, so somebody else is involved in this that's kind of being taken care of or swept under the rug. Making sure I understand mob shit. Trevor knows how much I understand mob shit.
I could only assume a lot.
Can I look at it and see if my involvement with Salvatore Tadaro gives me any extra, information to connect the dots with?
Yeah, none that you would need to roll for, but you can see that that he has eaten there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Trevor
look at the
has been to the
piece of
restaurant.
paper and I go, look, Salvatore Tadaro ate here too. That's gotta be important, right?
It is. It
Quite.
really is. I've seen all I need to see, and I can't make much more sense of it than this. Should we just join the rest of the group?
Yeah, let's look for some sassafras.
And I
Um,
did.
Hugsley, give me a spot hidden on that sheet of paper.
I just felt it. 65 over 64.
Yeah. You want to
I'll
get
spend a
lucky?
luck. I'll spend a luck.
Get lucky.
Yeah. So
you-
I
We're
you
up
spend-
all
go
night
to
to
look
get
at,
Hugsley.
Okay.
so I go to take
Alright.
I go to take a look at the sheet of paper, and I think there's nothing to it, and then while I'm walking, I tripped, and the paper gets closer to my face.
So here's what I'll say, Hugsley. I think you look at this and you take a look at this name that's been crossed out, and you try to see if maybe you can tell what it says, but it's too hard. But then you get an idea. You think, oh, let me flip the paper over. And you see where the pen made an indentation for this name. And it's a little hard to read because it's backwards. But the name is Boyd.
Get the fuck out of here! No!
Wait, who's
No!
Yeah, did I miss
Let's
something?
take a break.
No!
Ah!
No! Not allowed!
Gaggle, stay with us. We are going to take a
No.
5-ish, 10-ish minute break, and we're going to go refill our drinks and go use the restroom. Dan's going to take a moment to go run around outside and get his heart rate back down, and and then we will rejoin you very shortly.
No.
Good evening, Goons and Gaggle. We are back. Dan, you just had a very interesting question for me, which I think the Gaggle should hear. Those following this
Yeah.
story would be interested to hear.
I asked to be reminded of the name of the person dining with Boyd.
You did, and the name was Hart.
Also,
Hart.
fun fact. The name is Gray Boyd. Gray is his first name.
Yep.
And I came up with his name from Streetcar Named Desire. The gent that Blanche finds out is actually a degenerate. He's the Gray Boy.
Wow.
So that's-
Yo,
Wow.
Dan,
What a deep cut.
clever, Dan. Oh, I love
Wow, that's
that.
great. That's great.
I'm absolutely going to take credit for that when people ask me. I'm kidding.
What's mine is yours, keeper of Arcane.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Including my sanity.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, Dan, as you're looking and seeing how this name Boyd is related to the name Hart, Give me an intelligence roll.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Roll
What
low.
are you doing, Kate?
Roll very small.
What indeed?
I'm like real educated, but not very smart. I got a 66, and I'm gonna spend luck to get the rest of it.
I love it. Okay.
So what's that? 6. And what's my luck? What's my intelligence? 55. Okay, I have to spend 11 luck. To
Okay.
hit it.
Perfect. Grey Boyd, as you know incredibly well, is a professor at Mayfield
Do I?
University. Yes. Is a professor at Mayfield University who works in the physics department. He's a physics professor. You do remember there is a Professor Hart also at Mayfield University. You can't quite remember which department he's in.
You all right?
Okay. So actually, what happens is when Hugsley reexamines the paper and then he flips it over, and you see him trying to make sense of something, and normally Hugsley's energy is kind of up, and a little bouncy, and then he like stops breathing and he just like is like a rock, and he's looking at this sheet of paper and like he's like stopped breathing.
What is it?
Hugsley looks at his watch, and he's trying to decide if he wants to tell Sweetie anything, and Hugsley wants to see if he trusts Sweetie. What would a roll?
I'm not gonna make you roll on that, Hugsley. That's up to you.
You can roll a
No,
D20.
I mean, like I kind of
against-
want to leave it to chance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So I would say if we're putting it to chance, yeah, sure. Okay. So we can do a roll on that. You just give me like what percentage chance do you think there is that he would trust her, and we can roll against that. Like if you think it's like 60-40 that you would trust her versus that you wouldn't, give me a roll. And if you roll below 60, great.
Can I do something? I want to roll a psychology check on Sweetie.
Okay, go ahead.
And I fail it. So this is what Hugsley does. He takes a deep breath and starts breathing again, and he goes, I don't know if I can trust you, Sweetie, because I just met you. Can I trust you?
I think so. After all we've been through in the past couple of days. I mean, yeah.
Before I moved to Mayfield, I was in Harlem. And he hands her the sheet of paper and he points to the name backwards. And I met a gentleman. I could have swore I met a gentleman named Grey Boyd. And let's just say he was an intimate friend. And I would catch the train to come see him in Mayfield. And you know what times are like. So we never really left the apartment. We never really introduced ourselves to anyone in each other's lives. And one day he stopped calling. The next day I came to find him, and the apartment was empty. I wasn't even sure if he even existed. And now his name's on this sheet of paper. And
He's a part of all this.
I guess. Can you just keep this between us?
Of course.
And
Of course.
in the Hart, that's a professor at the college. I know that much.
What did your Boyd work in? What did he teach?
No, Boyd wasn't a teacher. Hart's a
No.
professor.
Hart's a
Hart's a
professor.
professor.
Point of clarification for my brain. Dan, what did Gray do?
Gray was a very simple man. He, like, if anything, he worked at a convenience store or something. Like, he was a very, very simple man.
Okay. All right. We can make that work. It's different from what I had in my mind, but I think we can still make it work.
I'll tell you what, sweetie. I thought I was going a little insane, and I moved into the apartment.
His apartment?
It was the only one left when I got my college job here in the city.
And he was just gone without a trace? Would
As
I
if
have
he was
seen
never
him
there.
around town? Now I'm racking my brain trying to remember who this boy was. Can I rack my brain and remember?
May I rack my brain?
Can I do a rack my brain check?
Sure. I believe I've said in the past, rolling to remember is just like against your intelligence. So you can do an intelligence check.
Sure. Oh, yes. All right, that's a 42 under 75.
42 under 75. Okay, great. Actually, Dan, why don't you tell all of us? You are speaking as the keeper right now. Gray lived in Mayfield, doing what?
What Gray told me.
Power.
This is strictly what Gray told me.
Mhm.
He was just a store clerk. He had family in New York that he would visit from time to time, and he always wanted to like live in the big city, but never had the funds, and so he was stuck in this small town. I never met anyone he knew. I never introduced him to anyone I knew, and so as the keeper, the story that Gray has told me is that he's angsty, stuck in this small town, should be doing much more, and occasionally gets to visit family in New York.
And for
Okay.
y'all, if we run into him tonight, for y'all's safety, should we all just you gonna pretend like you don't know him? What should we do?
I don't even know if I'll be functioning, sweetie. And then Hugsley goes in his bag and he pulls out a sketchbook and he hands it to Sweetie.
Oh, okay.
As you're looking through that, Sweetie, the one thing I will supplement that with from your memory, from your successful rack your brain check, is that he worked at a store as a store clerk at I don't know, let's just say like the local hardware store. So you have been in there a few times and you have interacted with him. And what you remember about him is just that somewhere you would get glimpses in these little tiny bits of conversation with him that his intellect was just like dizzying. This guy was so smart, so much so that you were able to pick up on it within seconds of speaking with him and wonder to yourself, what is this guy doing working as a store clerk?
I remember him. I went to the hardware store with Howard because he had to fix something around the house. And he was going on and on to this boy about what he needs and what he needs to find. And he describes the problem to your Gray Boyd. And this boy was like, no, and told him exactly what he needed to know. And I loved him for that. Howard was so fucking embarrassed. He wouldn't admit it. He's smart. He's got good arms, too.
Well, God damn it.
At this point,
This whole time,
Dicky and
Hold on.
Buddy coming up the
Hold on.
stairs.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, what? Go ahead, Dan.
this whole time. If I was just a little braver, a little sooner, I could have actually found some things out. I could have actually not been driving myself insane, wondering if it ever even happened or not. If I was just brave enough to be honest about who I am.
You have found some things out. It just took you exactly this long.
Yeah.
It might never have happened any other way.
Well,
it's not too late because there he is.
Okay, I got a question for you. How well did I do on the sketch?
It's beautiful. No lie.
Is it him?
You made him look a little better than he looks in real life. But that's what you ought to do.
Oh, sweetie McLintock. What is it?
McLintock.
Sweetie McLintock. I still said it wrong.
Are me and Dicky upstairs by now?
Well, let's see. I think right as this,
please?
Yeah, I was just going to say. I think
we're going to hear y'all's footsteps in a minute.
Right, Dan. I will give you free reign. Right, whenever it is, right as this conversation is wrapping up, is when the rest of your party is coming upstairs.
Great.
Okay. McLintock.
The last syllable is talk, like a clock. McLintock.
Okay.
Then Hugsley goes, Sweetie McLintock. That took way more work than it should have. I'm glad I trusted you. You taught me a few things right now.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's nice. I'll pocket that.
But one step at a time, though. So I would appreciate it if this was just between
you and me.
Me and the girls.
And I'll kind of gently leaf through the sketchbook a little bit, and then close it and hand it back to him two-handed because
it's special.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I put it in my bag. And then do I hear footsteps?
As a matter of fact,
on the stairs.
You do. You hear footsteps approaching the office in which you are currently having this conversation.
Well, good news. The stakes are all right.
How are the kids?
Everything seemed normal downstairs. You lot find anything up here?
Well, we have found. It looks like the Father Fitzgerald has been dining here real regularly, racking up quite a tab, and something or somebody has been taking care of it. Something's been paying it.
Who?
We don't know. Something's been making sure that he keeps coming back.
Any other any other suspicious people that you've come across in the papers?
I mean, a couple folks from around town. We got Pearson, Lowry, Terramai, and we found a new one, Hart. To maybe, I don't know who that is, but maybe we keep an eye out for them. Tonight.
Hugsley starts sweating. Hugsley starts sweating profusely.
So Pearson's been dining here.
All right. So all those folks on that list there, are they all the ones with the,
Oh yeah.
Oh, and let me remember, the guy who was obsessed with music.
Lowry.
That was Lowry. All right. Yes. So what we got here is some folks who, according to what we've been told, they were chosen. They got whatever this special gift was.
All right. So we've got the Diner Club members here at the Steakhouse looking through telescopes. Anything else? Any other clues?
Yeah, there's one other thing. Hugsley's sweating a bit, and he decides to take this lesson he learned and put it in practice a bit.
Yeah, I
he
doesn't
doesn't
say
say
you're
everything.
sweating.
Yeah, it's hot. It must be cooking something fierce downstairs. But it also appears that Hart knew a board, and Hart was paying for the meals, and the name was scribbled out. So someone was trying to obscure something.
Do you know this Hart character?
I only know that he's a professor at the college. I'm not even sure what he teaches, but
the college?
I've heard the name around. Yeah, at my university.
Well, that sounds like a clue to me.
What does he teach? Do you know?
No, I don't know what Hart teaches. I just know the name. I'm pretty new in town.
Well, if you can get us into the university, maybe we go have a conversation with this Hart and see what he knows, huh?
I'm sure there's plenty to learn.
Okay, all right, we got a clue. All right.
Well, it sounds like maybe our next lead is the university, eh, Dicky?
Let's well, unless we want to brunch here, I think that's a great next stop.
Yeah, well, I think we've got about 7.5 hours now to kill before it's dinner time.
Just enough time for a little college learning.
Yeah, but we were just saying we didn't get our beach trip episode. We're not going to get a beach trip episode as far as we know. But here's your road trip episode.
Yay!
What do you say, guys? Should we give it the old college try?
Do freeze frame jumping.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, I
I'm
know
rolling
at
a
this
rolling a
point-
sanity check for myself.
Here we go.
So there's nowhere else to check, right?
I
There's
succeeded.
Oh,
there's
also,
not a
no.
third story or
Oh, shit.
anything.
Start raising my voice. There's people sleeping in the next room.
What?
Oh yeah, there's that
Almost forgot.
too. There's 6 of them.
Yeah, there's no.
There's
So
6
we've checked all the rooms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So at this point, Benny's been real nervous this whole time. Been like, we've spent a lot of time sneaking around up here. Let's get the hell out of here and figure out our next step.
All right, let's go.
All right. As we go down, I want to peek into the kitchen. Is it safe for me to peek my head in the kitchen, y'all? Y'all who were just in there a minute ago.
They're just washing dishes in there, but everything seemed normal. What do you want to know?
I've got a hunch, and I want to when we go down, I want to peek my head in, and I want to count how many people are in the kitchen.
Sure.
That's smart, sweetie. Real smart.
6.
Fuck. All right. Well, as we make our way to the roadster, yeah, I think my hunch was correct. There were 6 empty bedrolls upstairs with some folks' belongings, and in the next room there was 6 more people sleeping. I don't think anybody is coming in or out of this restaurant. I think everybody that got working in here is sleeping here.
Not to correct you, sweetie, but it's pronounced roadster.
You're right. That's hard for me to say with my accent.
Hey, gang. Is there a basement to this establishment? Because I feel like whenever there's weird shit going on, it's always in a basement.
They're like geographically / historically, there probably would be. For all intents and purposes, there is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we remember?
Just
Do me
an
and
idea.
Dicky
You know,
remember
never
how
mind.
many
It's
people
probably not
were?
worth looking.
Do me and Dicky remember how many people were in the kitchen?
Well,
I
Sweetie
peeked
just
my
looked.
head in. I got
6.
6.
Yeah, Sweetie just
Got
looked.
it, 6.
And she got 6. And you would remember anyway, yeah, 6.
Well, they got a night shift, day shift. That's weird.
That's what
Yeah,
it seems like. Doesn't seem like anybody.
Sounds like a life shift.
This joint is a prison. Let's get out of here.
All right. Let's go over, check out. Let's go see if we can't find this Professor Hart. Have a little conversation with him before we come back for dinner.
As we're leaving, you see Buddy has got a lighter and he's holding one of the curtains and he's about to light it. on
Don't you dare!
All right. You caught me.
So you don't want to run back and grab a few more steaks there, buddy? Pad your jacket a bit more?
Nobody knows. I've got the steak hidden in my
The next time you get shot, it pings off because you've got a Kevlar of
pull the steak out.
Steak.
Son of a bitch.
You
Son of
saved
a
my
bitch.
life, Bessie.
Oh,
Lord Dragon, it's literally a meat shield. Yeah.
He's gonna get shot later in the campaign and then
Sorry.
pull the stake out with the
Yeah.
sword in it.
Sorry, force
I
of
love
habit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Wow. All right. Making your way to the university.
Woo.
Making my way to the university in Mayfield, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. You do so. You hop in the roadster. You got the top. Actually, you don't. It's February, so you probably have the top up. It's very chilly.
I don't know if we can all fit in there with the top up. We might be just top down. I'm hanging on to the back.
Mine is a
got one
special
arm inside the
roadster
door.
with
Yeah,
much
I think
more
we said like
interior space.
I think we said canonically this is like just Buddy or Dicky for some reason has a roadster that's like the size of a minivan.
Okay. He's got a
Yeah. So
six-seater
like
roadster.
yeah,
So
so you
no,
like
it can fit 5.
yeah,
it
yeah.
can
It
squeeze
fits you
5
all comfortably. And it has little screens in the back so you can watch Finding Nemo on the way. But yeah, so you make your way to Mayfield University. There it is. This it's Mayfield University. It's probably not a long drive, maybe half an hour or so. And there it is before you. This temple of education, Mayfield University. These beautiful brick and mortar buildings. There's a quad with two. Oh wait, I think. Well, no, actually, I can't say that for certain. But there's two guys out on the quad throwing a baseball back and forth between each other.
Weds is in a lawn chair and a bikini top.
The scandal. Yeah, that's all.
It's a nice place you got here, Hugsley.
This is where you work, Professor?
Yeah, gotta teach the youths.
My daughter's going to one of these here colleges.
Oh, congratulations! That's no small task to get a child, pursuing education and the higher studies.
Oh, listen, I had nothing to do with that. I'm just paying the checks, buddy.
I was supposed to go to.
All right, I'll take it back.
You were going to college.
So yeah, follow me, y'all. You mind if we swing by my office real quick?
Sure.
All right. So Hugsley crosses the quad, goes to his office, and he pulls out. So Hugsley's very new to college, so he has this whole welcome packet, and I'm gonna say, Kay, that he like pulls out like all the information he's been given about the college, and he looks up the name Hart and where to find him.
Sure. So through whatever means you're able to, I don't know, maybe getting in touch with like the registrars or the some office somewhere. You are able to, or an employee directory you probably have in your welcome packet. You do see a Professor William Hart, and he works in the astrology department.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
So Hugsley.
Wait. Astronomy.
Astronomy. Yeah.
Astronomy.
Not the astrology department.
Not astrology.
What's your sign?
I always get them confused. In fact, the only way that I can remember now is that Ginger, my favorite metal band, has a song called I Speak Astrology, and they're all talking about the signs and everything. The album is called Pisces, or no, one of the songs on the album is called Pisces. So yeah, astronomy. They use a professor of astronomy.
Astronomy, huh?
That Hart is a Taurus.
Yeah. So Hugsley walks into his office and he shepherds you all along. He opens the door, invites you in. It's not a large office, but it's not a small office.
There's someone waiting outside to ask if they can turn in their paper a week late.
And Buddy just looks at him and goes, "Hey, get out of here, will you?"
In his office, there's like a wooden desk. It's not elaborate or fancy, but he makes it look nice. There's stacks of papers piled up. There's a bookshelf with the writings of like Freud and Jung and all this stuff. There's like a plant in the corner. He's like trying to get some greenery, and there's a guitar hanging, like leaning in another corner. And there's a couple seats, and he says, "Why don't whoever would like? Why don't you take a seat? I'm gonna look up Hart." And then he does the whole thing, and he's like, "All right, y'all won't believe this.
I bet I will.
Hart
Try us.
is a professor of astronomy,
Get out of
Well,
town.
like looking at the stars and shit.
That's right. That's what he said.
telescopes and stuff."
He
Yeah.
would for sure have a telescope.
And they absolutely
Yeah.
would have one here at the college, wouldn't they, Hugsley?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, there's an observatory. So
All right then.
so-
I think
so
it's
then,
time we had a
follow me.
little. I think it's time we had a little hot to hot.
Oh God! As you
Yeah.
say that, and the camera, we start down the hall. I just look at Hugsley and go, "I didn't know you played guitar."
You know, I dabble. I'm a man of many talents.
We cut to Buddy, and he's looking through the Freud book, and he goes, "Hey, Betty, do you know what the word phallus means?"
Oh my God!
Is that when you punch someone in the face so hard they forget who they were?
Oh, hell if I know. I just never mind.
There was
You open-
something so weirdly like masculine and erotic about that. I was like, "What does it all mean?"
You open to the first page of a chapter of that book, Buddy, and the sort of abstract of that chapter is Freudian slips, and the first line is a Freudian slip is when you say one thing but mean your mother.
I just felt like I was on Wait, but why? Or wait, don't tell me. You have like
Wait, don't tell me. Yeah.
Peter Sagal. I love Wait, don't tell me. Don't get me started.
Don't
I
get
will
me
do my
started
best,
on
Paula. I will speak-
WHYY shows.
I will do the rest of this. Actually, that's WB Easy. I will do the rest of this episode as Paula Poundstone if you tempt me.
his last name is the Poundstone?
No, Paula Poundstone is one of the
Paula Poundstone is a comedian who frequently is on. Never mind. So yes, he is from the astronomy department, and as you're walking, are you making your way there? I'm sorry, I was too busy thinking about that joke.
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Hugsy's
Yeah,
leading
let's
him
go.
through the halls, and while he's going through the halls, he's seeing students, and he's you keep up with your studies now. He's
Yeah.
like waving to professors.
You
and
pass
like,
two
he's
students.
like picking up some trash he sees in the hallway and put it in the trash can.
You pass two students who it turns out are students of the astrology department, and they're very studiously talking to one another. And one says, "You know, my mother was a Cancer, which is ironic because she was killed by a giant crab." And then and you make your way.
You guys make fun of me.
I have to. Anytime astrology is mentioned, I just have to make that joke. I can't help
Getting all
myself.
our licks in for the pickle jokes at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Tania recognized it. That's a Bo Burnham joke.
Nice.
I love that joke so much. It's like my favorite joke of all time. So, so you make your way across the quad to the astronomy department. I have to think about it every time.
And I knock on the door because Hugsley's not one to barge in, even in a public space.
Sure, just of like sort of the front office of the astronomy department. You make your way in, and there's just like a secretary or a receptionist is click clacking away at a typewriter behind the front
hello,
desk.
sunshine.
Do the operator voice too.
What? No, not that one. She'll have this one. Just like, oh, hi, darling. How are you today? And she's like, click,
sun's out. Sun's out. It's a good day. I got some friends here. There's some locals from around the town.
Oh my
ain't that the truth? I hear we're supposed to get snow later this week. I'm really not looking forward to it.
Well, you let me know if you need any help with your sidewalk or anything. All right.
Oh, you are too kind.
All
Don't
right,
tempt me. I'll take you up on it.
He's over there jacking into
Well,
the mainframe. Clickety clack clack clickety clack 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 clack.
well, Sunshine. Have you seen Professor Hart? Yeah.
Oh, Professor Hart. I do remember speaking to him a few days ago. I think he, and she pulls out a few pieces of paper and like some notes that she wrote. Oh, he said, no, he said he's off this week. He said he was taking some personal time.
Oh, do you know when the PTO started?
At the beginning of this week. Today is as we mentioned before, Friday the 11th. He's taking 2 weeks. He's worked here for decades. I don't think he has taken a single day off the entire time he's worked here. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many days he's got off. I have a mechanical keyboard. It's actually pretty clicky clacky. Wait, hang on.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you how many days he's taken off. So I think he's earned it.
What folks who remember, when did people start having their skills appear and all the weird stuff happening?
Before.
Yeah, like around the beginning of the week.
A week ago.
Is that when? So that's when he took off.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly, yeah.
So then Hugsley turns and looks at the gang.
And we all nod
and-
as in like, yep.
Do you want me to get him a message?
Yeah. Could you actually do that for me? Tell him I'm seeking a little bit of counsel. I got some questions being the new guy around campus.
Can Buddy
And if you don't mind,
Let them finish, yes.
if you don't mind, sweetheart, I also have some papers from some students gave me the wrong papers. I think I need to hand them some. I think I need to do a little swap-a-roo. Could you tell me where I could find him while I was off?
Oh, well, I think she sort of rolls her chair back and goes through some personnel files. He lives here in Mayfield. And she gives you an address that you probably recognize that I probably won't remember. That it's not important what the address is, but he lives on 12 not Ocean View. We're in Ohio.
Cthulhu
12
Cthulhu Drive.
1, 2, 3, suspicious telescope lane.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
near me.
something like that. Yeah.
I know where that is.
So she gives you his address.
All right, thank you so much. This was truly a pleasure.
You're welcome.
All right. Now,
Clickety clack, clickety clack.
All right, then I'm out of here.
Is there any way? There's no way for us to check out that telescope or get up to the observatory without him, is there?
Hugsley could probably get you in. You know that there is an observatory.
Do you want
It's up to you, though, Hugs. I was.
Hugs,
It
do
is-
you have
it's an-
to use for it.
It is an observatory, and as a professor, I think you would have access to it. I imagine
Alright.
students would have to make appointments, but I think you would have access.
It's worth
So
investigating it.
you asked me that while I'm walking out.
Mhm.
I wink at you, sweetie, and then I go, "Oh, you know what? I took the trip all the way over here. Did you tell me the secretary's name?"
Fuck you.
Sunshine, sweetheart.
Flo.
You know what, Flo? I walked all the way over here, and I've never actually been in the observatory. Do you mind if me and my friends just take a little quick gander?
Oh, sure, Professor. She hands you the key.
Thank you, Flo. We'll be right back down.
Wow.
Let me proceed forward.
They
Great.
just gave you his address and the key to the observatory. Not much for security around here.
I mean,
Yeah, I should have asked her for a hand in marriage.
Just imagine
would've
the secret
said
you could
yes.
uncover. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't need to make too much of it. You make your way to the observatory, and yeah, you can do what you like in here, but it is it's a very studious environment. There is just the classic dome-shaped building with just a very large. I don't know really what astronomical instruments in the 20s would have looked like. But yeah, presumably there's just like a really large telescope. Things are probably like covered up. This is not really the time of day when they would want to use it. It's daytime. You know, if there were students or professors using this facility, they would probably want to be doing it at night. But yeah, I mean, all over the walls, there's like star charts and shelves covered in books and all kinds of stuff.
Anything suspicious?
Well, let's. I don't think I even need to make you roll on it. No, nothing. Everything looks very much within the ordinary.
Well,
Can Buddy
is certainly a telescope, but I don't know if it's our telescope.
Can Buddy take a look and see if the telescope is? Well, I don't know if this is what skill this is, but what I'm trying to do is I want to see if the telescope is pointing at anything in specific right now.
What skill do you think it is?
I think that would be either spot hidden or there's no
Education?
astronomy.
No, there's no astronomy, but there is a science.
Ooh. Yeah, I could roll against science.
But you know, I mean, for given the fact that there are all of these books around it as well, I think with a combination of like the positioning of the telescope, which is probably written down, you know, there are probably like coordinates somewhere on like a log somewhere. There are lots of books. I think some combination or you know, your choice among like education, intelligence, library use, or science would probably tell you what you need to know.
I can do library use.
Right, yeah, go ahead.
I can do library use.
I'd like to use fighting to fight my way into the telescope.
Fight the telescope until it reveals its secrets.
Right.
Yes.
So, Keeper of Arcane Lore, that is a 26 under 40. So I think, correct me if, go ahead.
No, okay. I think that, you know, through, you know, you're able to take 10 or so minutes and look around at like charts and the positioning of the telescope and know that currently, if someone were to look through this telescope at night, this time of year, in the position where it currently is, they might see the Pleiades star cluster.
Hey, Hugsley, I don't know if this helps. I ain't much of a learned man, but from what this says here by this coordinates, it's pointed at the Pleiades star cluster. I don't know if that means anything to you, but
Hugsley pulls out his notebook and writes it down. Would that mean anything to Hugsley with his studies?
It would not. No. And I don't need to make you roll on it either. Nothing. Even if you were to like get a crit on science, you'd be like, okay.
I'm having a hunch.
Okay.
I'm having a hunch here, friends. As
What do you
if
think,
some
Dicky?
disembodied voice is communicating to me that maybe this is not the telescope we're looking for.
You are just so religious, Dicky.
Well, you know,
Now you're in the voice of God.
something keeps the world spinning. Am I right?
That's right. So then Hugsley goes into his bag and pulls out his keychain, and he takes off the key to the observatory, and replaces it with a key off of his keychain. He keeps the
Ooh,
observatory key.
subterfuge.
Clever.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
All right. So what's our next step here? Are we go pay a house visit to this Professor Hart?
I don't know if I want to freak him out, just in case he's around the restaurant sometime soon. Because he's been, there's some folks been coming in and out of the restaurant that's got a tab. I'm wondering if we might run into him there.
Well, because he's on that tab is precisely why I want to speak to him, and I would rather do it on our terms rather than his.
I think
All right.
Dickie's right. I don't necessarily know if I want to run into him at that restaurant, sweetie. Otherwise, bullets might start flying. People might get hurt.
What? That's a leap.
Is it?
So someone might burn the place to the ground.
All right. Well, I would vote for swinging by his fella's home. That would be my vote.
I think we gained.
To the roadster. Okay, yeah. So you all make your way out. On the way, Hugsley, you drop the keys back off at Flo's desk, and she goes, "See you Monday. TGIF, am I right?" And so yeah, you hop in the roadster now with the key to the observatory in your possession, should you decide you need it later. And yeah, make your way to what do we say? 1-2 through Cthulhu Court.
As we're driving, as we're driving,
Craft Lane.
turn to Hugsley and say, you did a good job back there, Professor. You know, I mean, you really got a knack for this investigation thing. You know, I didn't expect you to talk so smooth for one so learned.
Well, you know, we're all multifaceted, right? Right? You know, do I contradict myself? Very well. I
Very well then.
Buddy in the
Well,
back
thank
seat with
you. I wholeheartedly accept the compliment.
Buddy in the back seat with Benny goes, and he kind of pulls the steak out and he goes, "Here, hold this for a minute, will you? My nipple's so hot I could cut glass."
Benny just like holds it against his face. This feels
Just
good.
force a habit.
And then he takes the
Please
takes
don't
the
take the
steak
meat
back.
out my car, all right? I don't want to stain the seat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's wrapped. It's fine. And he takes it and he just kind of sticks it back in his.
So much going on in the backseat of the roadster.
I know.
Benny slowly creeps his hand across the back seat and slowly puts it on Buddy's thigh.
Do you?
Buddy looks down and goes,
Oh Lord.
"Hey, Benny, if you want the steak, all you got to do is ask."
Benny looks at his hand, like pulls it back.
All right. 1, 2, 3, moving along lane.
That's
Now we're
right.
down to Cthulhu Lane. Cthulhu Lane.
You have to take moving along lane to get to Cthulhu Court.
Moving along lane to I think the telescope's on this road.
Good ship lollipop.
Oh boy.
13,
You say
Oh boy.
I hope this fucking telescope is here.
Who was it? Which member of the gaggle was it who said that game running is like herding cats that have to pee?
Well, so you think I'm being bad now? I've only said about 1 in 5 dumb comments that I've said. So just think if I would have really let
We
myself
really
loose.
appreciate your restraint.
I admire your restraint, Tyler.
It's
Okay.
been real tough.
Yeah,
Pull
so
up to a house in a cul-de-sac shaped like a squid.
Yep. A house in a cul-de-sac shaped like a squid. There it is. It's a beautiful, big, like old Victorian house. This is the part of town where like this is where the money is. Next door, anybody who's who has spent a large amount of time in Mayfield, Sweetie, Dicky, you would know that like next door is where Adair Woods lives. Like, and you know that she is like moneyed. So this is like a big house, old Victorian style, grandiose. And what would you like to do?
Knocking on that door.
Yeah, knocking on the door. All right, so all of you knock on the door. A man in a butler's. All 6 of you. Oh wait.
There it is.
Yeah. It wasn't the loudest, but okay. So a man in a very formal looking like butler's uniform answers the door. Those of you again who are from Mayfield would recognize this man. Would recognize him as somebody from who you've seen before. But give me an Sweetie, Benny, and Dicky. Give me an what do we say to remember things? An intelligence check.
Yeah, that's 59 under 75 for me.
No for me.
Okay.
I'm 88 over 50, so I don't know shit.
I'm
You don't
good
remember-
with faces.
Yeah, you're good with faces, sweetie, and you recognize this man as he goes by the name of Wesley Frost, Mr. Frost, and you know that this man works for Adair Woods. This is her butler,
And he's at the wrong house?
and he is currently at the house whose door you just knocked upon.
So Hugsley doesn't know this, and he goes, "How the hell is Hart affording this on a teacher's salary?"
That's crazy. Does
Yes,
oh,
can I help you?
it's good to see you again. I feel like you and I have crossed paths a couple of times around town. You remember me?
I'm afraid I don't, young lady.
Well, actually, you know who I've seen you with is Miss Adair.
Oh, you mean Mrs. Woods?
Of course, but
Yes.
I haven't seen her. You know, usually we see each other at the store. I haven't seen her in a while. Is she well?
I can't say she is. No, she's. I shouldn't speak too much of previous employers. It's confidentiality concern, you understand. But suffice it to say, I am no longer under her employment.
Oh, I'm so sorry, or congratulations, whichever one.
Oh no, no worries. It's quite all right. Are you looking for her? She lives next door.
Oh, is she home? Well, we're here. We're here to see somebody, but we might pop by just to check in on her. Is she home?
I can't say for certain. I no longer concern myself with the goings on about that house.
Oh, well, we're here. Hugsley, you wanna?
Yeah, I'm here to hand some papers to Mr. Hart. I just started back over at the university.
Oh yes, of course. You can give them to me.
Yeah, see, these are students' papers. I'm legally bound. I can only hand it to another professor, another teacher.
I believe that's quite unusual. They can be handed to me. That is Professor Hart's express wishes. He does not wish to be bothered. He's deep in his studies.
Interesting.
You can either give them to me, or you can return later.
Well, when would be a better time to call on Mr. Hart?
Well, I believe he has blocked off the rest of this week and next. So, if you wish to speak to him personally, you can return Monday the 21st.
Sir, you do realize how extreme that is. Mr. Hart can't be bothered for another colleague for but a moment.
Professor Hart is on a brief sabbatical and is taking his studies very seriously, to a degree which I'm sure will benefit the university greatly. Now, as I said, you can either hand those papers to me now, or you can return on the 21st when he is free.
Yeah, I don't like either of those options. Can we try to find the third?
I'm afraid that's all I can offer you. There is also the post.
The post. Mm-hmm.
Sure. Look, we don't want to cause any kind of commotion here, so let's not make a fuss. Let's not make a scene. We'll just hand over the papers, and I cock him.
Wow.
Buddy was thinking the same fucking thing.
It's a boring conversation anyway.
Yeah, it's a boring conversation. Look, we're gonna have company.
Benny was about to be like, sassafras.
Wait, so then Hugsley goes, "Oh, would you look at that? A third option."
Dicky, roll against your fight brawl and tell me what you get next week.
No!
spicy.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. You know, I yet again made the mistake of underestimating just how ready for violence this party is.
Look,
My word.
I'm not fucking around here anymore. I want to get to the bottom of this shit.
Isn't that the truth?
Give me the clues.
All right. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
Dicky
you can
woke up
probably.
this morning and chose violence.
After that dream he had last night, who can blame him? All right, well, investigators, thank you for yet another amazing night of role-playing and mystery solving. I always have such a fantastic time. You, yet again, have thrown me so many curveballs that I will surely find a way to catch in between now and next Wednesday. Gaggle, this has been episode 10 of Madness and Mercy. Thank you so much for joining us. This video is going to go up on YouTube in 5 days. It's going to go, the audio from it is going to go up on the RSS feed. Usually I can get it up the following, midnight of tomorrow. So like 11:59 Thursday night. And that'll be Thursday, March 10th. So, holy cow. All right. Well, we got some work to do. I got some work to do. Do I have another fight to prep? God damn it. So
no, we clock him. We go talk to the guy.
It's gonna be 2 hits. Dicky hitting him and him hitting the fucking floor.
Here's open. All right. Well, Gaggle, thank you so much for tuning in and checking this out. Thank you. I always forget. This week it was the first person I saw was Tania reminding me to roll for luck. So everybody go ahead and do your luck rolls.
Alrighty.
While they are doing that, Gaggle, and those of you who are new members especially, I should tell you that we are here on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. to do Madness and Mercy. We are really rapidly approaching the end of this adventure, so make sure you tune in to check out the end of it. However, if you can't, don't forget, we do put this up on YouTube and our patron-only RSS feed, which, like I've said before, if you're a member of the Patreon already, this is all old news to you. But we're also on YouTube, youtube.com. Our channel is called Critical Fail DM. You can go on there and subscribe to get all of our new content. Make sure you hit the bell icon to get notified when we put it up there. We also have a podcast. The podcast is called The STRAHDCAST, where Trevor, our own Dicky Harrow, leads us through a Curse of Strahd campaign, featuring all of the same faces that you've been watching tonight. And we drop new episodes of that on Sundays at noon Eastern, and we do a live listen on YouTube. So much like you're doing right here, come join us on YouTube for the premiere, and you can chat with us live as we're doing it. And while you're there, like I said, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. In addition to that podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where, if you haven't yet, please go leave us a review, help others find the Gaggle, and join this great community we are building. Partly because we hope that you will enjoy the content that we put out, but mostly because we know that you will enjoy each other's company. The community that we are building is just so exquisite and just so great to hang out with. In addition to all of that, a thing that you can do, if you are so inclined and able to do so, is join our Patreon. The lowest tier, I believe, is $5 a month, and that gives you access to the Discord where you can meet the Gaggle and all of us just in real time. We're in there all the time, just chatting it up with all of you, talking about TTRPGs and video games and art and all kinds of other crazy stuff, whatever is on our minds on any given day. So I think I've done my due diligence. I want to, last but not least, give a big thank you to all my players. Campbell as Sweetie McLintock, Dan as Hugsley Lacker, Tyler as Benny Kaplan, Ned as Buddy Wilson, Trevor as Dicky Harrow. I, of course, am Kay, your keeper of arcane lore. Investigators, anything else you want to say to the Gaggle?
Thanks for being here, everybody.
So goddamn goofy today. I really tried to rein it back. It just wasn't happening.
Look,
we're goddamn goofy all the time. But yes, this is us on like a 3 out of 10.
Trevor, you got something to say?
Yeah, I think I cut you off, Trev.
No, just thanks for being here, and wherever you are, whatever you're doing, take your day with advantage.
We love it.
The chat really wants us to roll for Buddy's healing.
Oh yeah.
That is on a per day basis. That is not on a per session basis. Yes. So at the end of the day, we will do that. By the rules of the book, it's by the week. But since this is a shorter campaign, we're doing it by the day. But thank you for the reminder. So I think if that's everything, Gaggle, thank you so much. We'll see you right back here next week. That'll be Wednesday, March 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern for episode 11 of Madness and Mercy. All right, Gaggle, we love you.
Bye-bye.
friends.
And
Bye,
we will see
Goons.
you next time.